Many thanks for staying tuned. In a separate development, millions of files relating to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein have been disclosed by the U.S. Department of Justice since the law mandated their release last year. On 30th January, another tranche, which included 3 million documents, was published. Deputy U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche said that at the time, he hoped it would bring closure for Epstein victims who had endured unspeakable pain. Days later, batch reduction, which revealed the identities of some of Epstein's victims, forced the DOJ to wipe thousands of the files from its website. Now, according to their lawyers, among them were women who had not been previously named, and also the unredacted files included emails, victim statements, nude images, and bank account details. With the government review of the files now over, and its insistence that there are no grounds for new prosecution, the future looks quite uncertain. Today's conversation focuses on understanding how global power, justice system, and accountability intersect in high-profile international cases. I'm joined by Barmak Javid, a journalist and legal consultant who has spent years examining complex international issues and their wider implications. We'll be unpacking context, not speculation, and also looking at what the fact tells us about the Epstein case. Hello, Mr. Javik. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Mr. James. Thanks for the invitation and the interest.
Good afternoon, Mr. Javik. Please, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you for your invitation and your interest.
Okay. Good to have you on the show, Mr. Javik.
Thank you.
Okay, so because of time, let's just hit the ground running. I'd like us to begin with your personal experience. What do you believe the Epstein case reveals about the influence of wealth and power in protecting perpetrators?
Yeah, old saying is such that such deals show that big fish are not touched and small fishes are. And again, we see this, but the curtain is falling. After so many centuries and years, more and more brackets in the wall and cracks in the wall show now the true hidden society behind all this evil ongoing. I believe that the key positions have been infiltrated, making it nearly impossible to bring them to justice using only secular means. For me, it's a spiritual battle that must be fought on both the secular and the spiritual levels. And it shows that every society has an elite in every country. It can be an economic elite, it can be a religious elite, it can be a political elite, and most of these are infiltrated. And yeah, this is a really big issue for the whole world, not just for one country.
Okay, so Mr. Javik, you just mentioned the spiritual right now. When you say it should also be fought, we should also use the spiritual approach. What do you mean? Like, is it like prayer, fasting, or we can go after religious leaders?
I mean, the evil is not looking if people are right or left wing. He uses everybody for his purpose, which is useful and who's willing to serve him. And for example, the president of El Salvador, Mr. Bukele, he said it right out. We have not just a secular problem, we have a spiritual problem. Most people in the Western world are not believing anymore. They become more interested in materialistic things and don't see that there is an Almighty who is really creating everything. I have a list of almost 15, 16 Nobel Prize winners and different subjects from chemical to medicine to physical. And in the end, everybody of them is saying there is an Almighty. We cannot say that the world is a materialistic world and religion is something which we have to divide. It starts from Isaac Newton, goes over Albert Einstein to very known other. I can mention a few if you want: Niels Bohr, Max Born, Heisenberg, Christian Anfinton. He wins the Chemical Nobel Prize in 1972. So all these high-end scientific persons and researchers who have won this prize in their subject, in the end they say, no doubt there is an Almighty. If there is an Almighty, there must be a counterpart, and this counterpart is called evil, but it's not only one evil. There are different demonic lords, and we can give them different names. In the end, we have a real enemy on the other side, on the spiritual side. And if you see all these things that Epstein doing, it's not just only raping and torturing babies or children for the purpose of fun or whatever. This is a worshipping to these entities which are living, and that's their what we call energy. That's the energy that they're needed to expand, and we have to stop this. And people are not aware in all countries. Few countries in Europe, we have still a high rate of believers in prayers, but yes, we have to pray, come together. There is no religion who stands over the other one. We are one humanity, and the Almighty is not looking on your religion, he's looking on your heart. If you're good or bad, that's very easy. We don't need complex theories, which sometimes occur in all religion. We have to be clear and easy and stick together. This is a fight against humanity, not against one race or one religion or one country. Therefore, you see that also this network of Epstein, and he's not the only one, he's the most known, is a network like a spider net spread over the whole world, over the whole world. And it's not just limited to the Western countries, as some people maybe think, or just a few countries. It's a network which is affecting every country and the whole globe, I have to say.
Okay, so Mr. Jevic, there is a report ongoing about the spiritual fight, but we are not going to center on that. You have highlighted how influence and power can shape outcomes. So I'd like to look at a specific moment in this case that has raised widespread concern. We can see that Jeffrey Epstein had a previous plea deal in 2008 that many critics called controversial. I'd like to know your perspective. How did that deal influence public trust in the justice system?
Yeah, that our good our feelings and our trust in the system, it's rightly undermined confidence in the justice system. In some countries, such as Germany, there is no clear separation of powers. This leads to intervening of powers. In the US, for example, this is not quite pronounced, but the authority of the federal minister or president to issue instructions shows that political influence is also at play here, as many are held hostage, directly involved in mafia methods and susceptible to blackmail. As we can see, we have a fundamental problem. Like the mafia, I'm not sure if you're known to this word, merta. It means you cannot step out. Yeah, and it's a oath that you give, and once you're in, no way out. And with blackmail, you have to torture, and they will record this and use this against you. So if you one day want to step out, they have worse things about you. In addition, the appointment of judges by ministries is a flaw in the system that encourages this. Judges should be elected by the people with a limited terms, the same for state prosecutors, limited term of office to make them less vulnerable. This is increase their integrity to make judgments that are not politically desirable. And we see in America, in the moment, not so much is happening in America, where all this is published. A lot of things are going on now in Europe, few things in the Middle East. And it shows that there is a interest conflict still running on. And if you are watching the news, you see that Pam Bondi is under big pressure. Today, there was a record coming out that she says there are 10,000 of videos about babies. And this is a shocking thing. They try to avoid that the public is getting aware of this. They think, oh, 15, 16 or 12, 11-year-old girls, still horrible. But I hope that they will not hold all these videos back. I mean, we don't have to watch them all, but we have to talk about this issue because this is child sacrificing. And we have seen this in the past, in the history. We find a lot of cultures which have relied on that and used it. There are various ways. Now I jump back to the judges to influence them, such as career transfer to unpopular areas, or at least to stop the careers and not letting them coming up to better positions. So our system, I cannot speak for all countries, I can speak for most European countries in America. There is a lack in the system which we have to close. But still, this is not enough because it is a spiritual war. And our enemies are quite, they have developed a system over centuries. And now there's a peak. And people are not aware that we are highly in danger. They think, oh, he is dead, maybe. People doubted that he is dead. The ex-girlfriend of Prince Andrew, Lady Victoria Harvey, not known for conspiracy theories, she said today in a media, Epstein, she thinks he's still alive. And if you see some news about his missing tattoos on the body, which was carried out of the prison, and if you compared his ears with all the pictures and the ears of the person who was buried out of the prison, it makes me very suspicious and all the other people. And his sex trafficking, child trafficking system is still running. So who is running this system? Yeah. And the Mossad is known for being the most successful and unscrupulous services. And I think my personal view is he's still alive and pushing his system and the people behind him who have interests, different interests, to hide this and to use blackmail still to stop maybe certain parts to be published. Yeah. I mean, things are known for many years in America. These are not new facts which occur last month and happened last month or last half year. Some of the files are very, very old and running for years. And that's my personal view, that in the moment, it is not the best situation. They are not telling us everything. And this makes me a little bit, in the moment, not really happy. I'm glad that this curtain is falling, but still the whole curtain hasn't fallen. So we need a clear situation so that we can analyze the true facts and the situation and see what we can do together. And there are a lot of people who are interested. And I think if we have better data situation, we can also find better solutions on secular and also on spiritual levels.
Thank you so much. I've also seen reports that Epstein was just too strong to die by suicide. Well, I mean, that's your personal opinion and also the opinions of others. But that leaves me one question. If Epstein is dead, why does the file really matter? Why would he kill himself? Or why would there be speculation that Epstein is somehow still alive and the files are being released? What is the big picture? But then again, let's still stay on this matter. The plea deal that was released, no, the plea deal of 2008 raised serious concern. And I'm just wondering, right, could this be the same thing happening with Sean Diddy Combs? Could this be the same thing happening with R. Kelly? Because R. Kelly was actually in the news just like these, and after like so many years, the survivors got justice. So I'm just thinking, is it okay if we question our justice system? Like you said, the justice system is literally controlled by a certain group of people. If this is actually true, how can we ensure that the responsibility extends beyond just one individual controlling a justice system that affects millions?
Yeah, first we need the public opinion to push the politician and the political parties to do something about it. Secondly, as I mentioned, we need upright people in the system who raise their voices now. There are a lot of people who know what's going on, but they are frightening. And now we have a paradigm change, because it's not just a conspiracy theory anymore. For many years, they tried to kill this discussion with always the same word, conspiracy. But if you are at a court, you see how much conspiracies go running on. Yeah, if people are killing, or there are different type of mafia groups. In every country, we have this. In every country, more or less. In some we have a lot, in others we have less. So, as I said, we need different way of democracy, new ways. I mean, the system we have now, or the UN system, built after the Second World War. Most countries have developed a way of democracy, and this has always to be developed. We never have to stop. And nowadays we have so much technology that we can use better votings on certain issues. Yeah, not just like in Germany, every 4 years you can run to the pool and give your voice or vote. This is not enough, because in between these 4 years, a lot of corruption can happen. And I'm not sure about Nigeria, but I can tell you about Germany. In the beginning, they're promising A, and after election, they're doing B. Yeah, so this is a problem. Politicians have to be reliable, and judges cannot be on lifetime service. They have to be limited, and the local people have to vote and decide which judge is good for the community and not for the political parties or the interest of certain powers, if it's economically or if it's a religion, whatever. The people in every country have to stand up and take back the sovereignty which we gave to the state. Normally the state has to serve us. In a moment, I feel that in a lot of countries, especially in Europe, I cannot. So the most states and people in charge, they forgot that the people give them the power. Yeah, we have overcome these system of that one king is ruling for all of us and we have to accept. No, we are working, we are paying tax, we are paying at least everything what the state is doing or running for or paying for. Yeah, the people are doing. So we are in charge. Why should we not? I mean, if you cannot go to a supermarket and say, hey, I have like $20, I want to buy food, and at least the supermarket is not giving what you want. You want, for example, 1 kilo of bread, 1 kilo meat, and at least they give you water and for example, chewing gum. Hey, you gave money, and if you're giving money, you are in charge, and you have the right to decide what happened with this money. If it's a community, the community has to decide. But meanwhile, a lot of these politicians are blackmailed, or the system has been infiltrated by certain type of powers. And Epstein is not only we do not have to reduce him only on the child trafficking. He infiltrated scientists, yeah, like Bill Gates, who influences the vaccines, and they are working a lot on evil stuff and evil parts of plans for one world order, plans for more how you say. Let me just.
Mr. David,
Yeah.
while we are waiting for you to catch up with what you had to say, I think let's talk about the big names that have been mentioned in the file. You know, we've seen the likes of Bill Gates, we've seen Donald Trump has also been mentioned in the name. We've seen very, high-profile people in the society. How have investigators addressed the role of his associates? I mean, you mentioned that Epstein is just one of them. So for now, the big names that we've seen, what's the way forward? What will we do with those names? Are we just going to hear the names on media and then that's the end of it?
I can only look. He's working for the Mossad. We do not have to reduce it to a secret service. We have to see the big picture, yeah. And the big picture is they want to control the whole world, yeah. There is a group of people worshiping evil, and evil wants to destroy what the Almighty has created, yeah. And he wants to stop humanity to develop and to reach a point where we all are satisfied, happy, and living in harmony. So I cannot, in the moment, I cannot really say, because give all solutions. I'm also looking in certain parts for an answer. So I cannot. Otherwise, I would be a prophet if I would answer to everything. But could you maybe again reduce your question to one point that I can maybe better grab this?
Okay, so I was literally asking about the big names that are being mentioned in the Epstein file. We've seen the likes of Bill Gates, which you've mentioned. We've seen the likes of Donald Trump, which you've mentioned. Now, how have investigators, really looked into the matter? And what's the way forward? Are we just going to hear these names? Bill Gates has denied having anything to do with Epstein. In fact, Bill Gates went as far as saying that, Epstein wrote the emails and sent it to himself. Are we just going to hear all the big names on media and that will be the end? Are we going to see further investigation into these big names, the role they played, and the justice being served?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, on one hand side, every country has to do its own business. On the other hand side, we have to build a big commission. Like the end of the World War, we had the Nuremberg trials, for example. We need a special international trials for these people, because they have violated not just the national constitution of the countries or the oath they're giving to to the if they are coming into charge or in power. We need an international commission with a right to interfere in every country. If you see Macron's, for example, mentioned 200 times in the Epstein files, yeah, how can a normal people like you and me do something against Macron? Yeah, so the French people can maybe stand up, but what is Macron then doing? Sending the police. Yeah, so we need something like partly maybe a construction like the International Court, which is a new, where the countries do not have to give their permission, like the Nuremberg trials that were established. And the problem in the moment is that we have a divided situation between West and East. A new fight is also to try to bring other topics into the conscious of the people. Yeah, you see Iran, you see Venezuela, you see Greenland, you see all these political fights. It shows that they don't want freedom; they want war, and the war is also something which evil likes. In my opinion, we need an international tribunal and not talk too long, give them every rights, because we cannot leave it just to the DOJ in America. Yeah, so we need a global system, which is not relied only on the United Nations, because this is also controlled by the allies. Yeah, France, England, America, Russia, and China. They can, with a veto, stop everything, and that's why the politics in the last years never have developed. Because one on the side are always doing a veto because of its own interest or interest of certain people in the country or whatever. We need a true new way of politics system, and it has to start with a trial. And this trial must have the right to punish and to arrest these people, like we did in the Nuremberg trials. In a moment, I don't see the will, but I hope that the people stand up and ask for such trial. And then nobody can escape. Nobody can escape who is guilty. We know, for example, Bill Gates, there are protocols about the flights to the Epstein Island. He is mentioned over 50 times. Yeah, over 50 times. And a lot of known people like Heidi Klum, he is a top model from Germany. He was also there. She was also there. Yeah, and a lot of people are engaged. You can say almost the whole elite. Elon Musk, yeah, a lot of Hollywood stars, a lot of musicians, yeah, and we have artists like Marina Abramovic. She's a Serbian artist, but satanic. And if you see how much prizes she is winning, you see the audience and the people. The system is quite bigger. Just Epstein is just a number. It's just a number. There are a lot of brokers worldwide. All bigger secret services of big countries are using this blackmail. But no one has used it like Mossad and Epstein so badly and so heavily. And at least we have to stop also the secret services to be intransparent about these ongoing things, and not just only forbid them. We have to have a true transparency, transparent operating security system, which really protect us before from these people. Yeah, they are true criminals. I mean, you find on the streets also true criminals, but never in this. Yeah, I have to say industrial manner. They are using really industrial. I mean, they are sacrificing daily children. It's just not a story of the past.
So,
and it is not only, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Javid. We literally have barely 10 minutes to go. But then this is one question that, is just in my mind. Looking at Epstein case and how many times he escaped justice, do you think there are more hidden islands that we are yet to discover? I mean, you say that Epstein is just one of them. In your own opinion, do you believe that there are more Epsteins in the world?
Yes, as I said, he's not the only broker about child trafficking. He's the most successful among them. Yes, there are other islands and places, hotels, underground tunnels, like the Chabad Lubavitch sect in New York, even in their synagogue. In their synagogue, they have tunnels. And now the new files which came out shows more and more tunnel systems, a lot of tunnel systems in a lot of places. And Donald Trump himself is accused to have raped, I think, a 13 years old girl in his hotel. Yeah. And he is the boss of the hotel before he became president. He's still the boss of the hotels. Yeah. And nobody will ever stand up against him. He is one of a lot oligarchs, yeah, or billionaires who can do what they ever want. They stand over the law. That's how they feel, yeah. And there are a lot of islands, a lot of places, a lot of things running on. It's not just reduced on Epstein. And if you see the Buckingham Palace, what Prince Andrew is doing, he's not every time flying to the island. He's raping inside the, if he wants, yeah. And if you look on some English celebrities like Jimmy Savile, he was one of the top of the pop he moderates a show very long time. He was accused after his death, and then it came out he was raping kids. And he and the King James, at that time it was Prince Charles, not King James, sorry, King Charles. At that time was Prince Charles, are best friends. And the brother of him is raping for years. I speak about Prince Andrew. For years he's raping minors. And worse things are going on. And we cannot reduce it only on the island, on one island. And what they still don't show, what is happening on this island. They have a lot of occult stuff in this island. The media is not really talking about it. Some are irritated. Some think, maybe it's too much conspiracy, because they have no spiritual view on this point. Yeah. And I can say my father is Jew, my mother is Muslim. I became Christian. And I'm interested as a martial arts teacher a lot in Buddhism, Taoism. So I did my own research. I learned a lot of my teachers and other people that evil is everywhere. And also the Almighty is everywhere. So this is a battle which is running on, and it is not reduced just to Epstein. Like the Social Republic in Germany, before they united with Germany, they used a lot of honey traps, and also they knew that the English society, the elite, is is raping kids, and they used this also, the Social Republic Germany in the past, with a secret service to provide them with girls, and that's how spying on other countries also work. If nobody wants to be in the public known as a child raper or torturing children. And if you go in history, you see in the Roman Empire, all the Caesarian were doing incest, pederasty was common practice. But in school, they don't teach. Yeah. And this is a practice which the Catholic Church is also having. Yeah. And it's the largest pedophile ring. So we cannot reduce it only on the Secret Service, only on the on one island. certain parts of religion is totally infiltrated. The Catholic Church mainly, because the most powerful and the biggest one in the world. And we have seen the last 10 years, 20 years, how many countries, bishops or lower priestess have raped, tortured kids, children. So this is an issue that the evil don't look which religion, which country. He is interested to reach as much power as he can. And therefore, I think, yes, it's not the only island. And if you do your own research, you will find a lot of other islands and names. And only rich people can buy an island. Yeah, you and me, we cannot afford.
Okay,
And if they buy an island, they're under 100% under their control.
Okay, so before we go, I'd like us to talk about the survivors. I know that in their files, their faces, some of them have been shown in the public space. First off, what is the impact of these files in the public space? What is the purpose? To get justice for the survivors, or it's just, a mere propaganda against Donald Trump?
Yeah, and in the first, I hope that it is for the victims. Yeah, but this is used also for propaganda reason. We can really see this, as I said in the first part of our interview, that we see in a moment that Europe is mostly affected, but in America, hardly people being arrested or accused. Only few names are running over the media. So on the one hand, on one hand, it's very helpful that this is now shown and brought to more consciousness in the public opinion. I know for many years I tried to speak to my colleagues, to friends, and I can say 80% are not willing to look at it because they've never heard something about it in the TV. So if it's not in the TV, it can't be true. That's our problem. And the second is that the few who are talking about it, they are fearing the effects of showing up with a minor view on political or social issues of society. And now we have a major change because it's heavily shown that this is not a thing of few, it is a big thing, and the whole elite is affected.
Okay, so as we begin to wrap this up, I want you to bring this. I want us to bring this, bring conversation. I beg your pardon. I want to bring this conversation back to clarity and fact for our viewers. We can see that Jessie Maxwell, a co-conspirator with Jeffrey Epstein, has come out to say that she has a lot to say, but she demands clemency from the US president. What's your take on that? Do you think the US president should go ahead and give her a clemency just so she could clear her name, or we should just stick to her sentence in prison?
I think many people like him are stopped to tell the truth because they will still use it for their own interests. And we have a lot of going on in the Trump family. Now we hear a lot of things about his son, who is a hardcore Jewish believer, but not to the Almighty, to their own. I have to say, I think it's the evil God they are worshipping. I think the problem is that the people who have something to say still are stopped to say and tell what they know. And this shows that still people are having their hand on this theme. As I said before, the president or the ministers can stop certain things, and this is not in the interest of the public. This is the interest of the people who are criminals in my eyes, the worst criminals we have on this planet.
Ghislaine Maxwell, the wife of Jeffrey Epstein, shouldn't be given a clemency.
You speak now about Maxwell, yeah. I mean, if you see at this family, she has a father who was a known Mossad agent. When he died, you have to see what a big funeral Israel was doing for him. If you see on the brothers and sisters she have, some of them have a high influence on IT subjects, software programs for US Guard, for national security services, different high-end software developed, and we know the Mossad has always a back door so that they are aware of all these starters. This is a high-end operation of Mossad, and since the killing of Robert Kennedy, the President Robert Kennedy, and his brother, Robert J.F. Kennedy, and both brothers were killed. Since then, we have a high-end infiltrated American government, and we have to understand that these people who call themselves Jew are Zionists, and Zionist is not what Jewish people normally are. And most people are radicalized in this field of religion. Look at Israel, what they're doing to the Palestinians, and the Americans are supporting them. So if you're really a Christian, you should send love, not weapons. Yeah, but the Americans are sending everything what Israel demands, and this shows that something is wrong. A lot of people in America stand up and say, "Hey, first America, why do we serve Israel or other countries in their interest?" Because the politician can be, and they are on the blackmail. And as we see, it is not only the president, only the kingdom, like the British kingdom, affected. It is the system which has evil developed. And I have to say that, again, we have to know all the facts so that we can find the best solution. If we have only 20 or 80%, still there is a lack, and our solution will also have a lack, because we cannot cover things which we don't know.
Okay, Mr. David, that's all we have today on the show. Thank you so much for being a part of Worldview today and helping us to unpack and give major highlight to the situation with the Jeffrey Epstein case.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's been an exciting time having deep discussion with biomarker Javid. We've been talking about the survivors of the late Jeffrey Epstein, who died by suicide. One question remains on everybody's lips. Will the survivors ever find justice? Or this is just another case to push a propaganda out there?